This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. There we go. Let's talk about the 4-0 Canes, not them sorry-ass Dolphins that are just bringing them down, dude. Jesus Christ. Plus, the Canes are making me money. We said to lay the 16.5. We're 4-0 on the Canes with either the overs or the spread. And this week, by the way, I'm laying the 19.5 on Vautech. So that's one of I'm watching a mature team, you know. And it's exactly what we talked about last week. We said, oh, it'll kind of be a little, a little hairy early on, and then they'll pull away. And that's kind of what happened. I could see this game too, kind of being a little hairy early on, then as they pull away, overall. But I really love the maturity of this team, actually, because they're handling these situations the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, they really are, and I think I like the fact that the second half adjustments in the last game. USF was having success playing with tempo, created some problems. I thought Mario waited too long to call a timeout on that long drive that USF had in the second quarter when they controlled the clock. I thought he should have called it earlier. But you know what? They made the adjustments in the second half. They shut down USF's running game, held them to 62 yards. The same team that ran for over 200 yards against Alabama. So I know people have said, hey, Miami hasn't played anybody yet. Well, this USF team is one of the better group of 5 schools in the country, and they were in it in the fourth quarter with Alabama, and Miami basically dominated them from the second half on. And I think that counts for something. I think Miami is a legitimate top 10 program this year. And I think people probably need to respect them for being good.
Yeah, it's it starts now. The ACC schedule, we'll get to see them play that schedule and see how they handle that, and then hopefully it's excellent results as we go along. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But Cam Ward, bro, like, man, he is everything that was billed and more, man.
Yeah, 72% completion percentage. Oh, and really, he's got 2 interceptions, 14 touchdowns. The second pick was definitely not his fault. It literally went right through the hands of Jacoby George on Saturday night. He literally handed the football off to USF, and that led to the only touchdown Miami gave up because they were on a short field. But he's been sensational. 5th highest rated quarterback in the country. Right now, he's the Heisman favorite. According to odds makers. His offensive line has done a tremendous job. They've given up 1 sack all season long, and that's without Jalen Rivers, who's your starting left tackle, and without your starting left guard either, who started the UF game, and he's been out since too. So this is a real team, and Cam Ward is definitely a real quarterback. He's averaging 11.7 yards a pass attempt. That's 4th in the country. I told you last week they're the most explosive offense in the country. They still are. 37 plays of 20 yards or more. Again, you can talk about the competition, but that's the same USF team that was in it, down 21-16 with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter at Alabama. And if you think Alabama's a real team, then you definitely have to think Miami is.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what goes on now for the next couple of months is to prove that the first month wasn't fluke. Mm-hmm. That you just aren't good against, the mediocre teams, that you're going to be better against the ACC. And you know what we're going to do to them at the end of the year? Well, the ACC is not that good. And so now, and when they get to the playoffs, okay, now let's see if they run into yada, 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 whatever it is that are the top teams. Okay, now we're going to see if they're that good, because that's what we're going to do to them. I know it, right? Because the ACC isn't necessarily the most impressive conference either. Right now. So I kind of get that's what we're going to do. But again, to me, I see enormous progress because you did not handle these kind of games this way for the last 10 plus years. It was a disaster at times. You either barely won, an ugly win, or whatever. This has been domination. You have played overall damn good football. It's not like, unorganized Mike McDaniel style football. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or stuff that went on the first 2 years under Mario. He's kind of erased all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's good for him. I mean, it's kind of a year for him, man. Basically.
And I was gonna say, you got to give his coordinators credit too. I think Lance Guidry saw what was happening to his defense in the second quarter and didn't wait till halftime to make those adjustments. They started making those adjustments before then, and I think obviously the same thing with Shannon Dawson, right? Just he saw that USF was stacking the box against them and made every adjustment necessary. Basically, just cut Cam Ward loose. Ran the right kind of plays, and once Miami's offense was clicking, bro, it was over. I think they're well set up here in really the second full season together. The coaching staff, you've got everybody knows the system well. Everybody's familiar with it. I think what we're going to see is continuation of what we saw on Saturday this week against Virginia Tech.
Any injuries of note?
Well, I mean, you're hoping to get Ruben Bain back. I told you guys a month ago when he first went down against Florida that the Virginia Tech game was the game that they were targeting. I think there's a possibility he'll be ready to play this week. It is a short week. It's only they play Friday, not Saturday, and I don't know whether or not he's actually been involved in practice or not because none of us get to go down there and see anything physically anymore. But I think the coaches have been saying that he's close. I don't think Miami needs Ruben Bain to beat Virginia Tech this week. So if you want to hold him out another week and let him play at California a week from now, you can do that as well. Certainly the way that they're getting pressure on the quarterback. Jalen Rivers, to me, is the more interesting one. He's been replaced by Markel Bell, the big 6'9" JUCO kid that Mario signed that they absolutely love. And he's performed well, I think, to this point. I thought he had his best game on Saturday against USF. And so, if Jalen Rivers is ready to go, great. You put him back in. You put Markel Bell on the bench, and you roll with your best five. But we'll see what they do. But those are the two main injury updates. I think the other guys that are being banged up are probably further along away from coming back.
By the way, Jordan Lyle, it's Lyle, not Lyles. Man. That was a sweet run and
unbelievable speed, man. Unbelievable top end speed for that kid. Yeah.
and what I like is that in this month also you're not really you have the luxury of bringing Fletcher along slowly. He only got a couple more carries, so because he's coming back from such a serious injury, it's such a luxury that you don't have to put the weight of the world on him because your running back room isn't that strong. Jesus Christ, this room is strong, dude. I mean, Damian Martinez they were stacking the box. Yeah. So they didn't have to really wear out their running backs, but that ends up becoming a positive for them.
It does. Again, you're hoping to play a 15, 16, 17 game schedule, right? Making it through the playoffs. And so the more prepared you can get these guys. And let's not forget, this is a very old team. Miami's roster is going to look different next year. A lot of these guys are going to go pro. Especially if they have the kind of season that they're expecting to have. You're going to lose some underclassmen probably to the draft. So it's good that you get freshmen and second year guys that didn't play last year a lot of reps right now, so that next year this is just a continuation. I think that's something that everybody sort of, when you think about sustained success, that's what Mario was brought here to do. He was brought here not just to win one season with Cam Ward, but to turn Miami into a consistent dominant winner. And I think between what he's done on the recruiting trail and then actually getting guys into games, that's been huge for them here in the month of September.
Isaiah Horton, bro, he's a sophomore.
Yep, third-year guy who was banged up right in the past, came in injured from high school. He had a season-ending injury as a senior, had surgery, missed basically a year. Last year it was kind of his first real year where he was getting his feet wet, getting used to it, and now. You see him basically go in and replace Jacoby George after Jacoby George bobbles that football, and you're like, this dude is good. He's, so that's the way Miami always did it. They had guys waiting in the wings that ready to take over, and you never had a drop off. That's why Miami was dominant. That's why Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State have been dominant.
But it's good for next year when you lose.
A
lot of experience. And it looks like he's headed for a heck of a season this year because, man, he's been good, bro.
He's been great, and a bigger receiver on the outside, which you needed to replace after you lost Colby Young, and so now you've got a guy who can basically replace him and be effective.
What are we expecting from Virginia Tech?
Well, I mean, if you watch the last game against Rutgers, they did a better job slowing down the run. That had been kind of their Achilles heel. They lost to Vanderbilt to open the season in overtime, beat Old Dominion, and looked like, okay, maybe they were getting back on track. But this last game against Rutgers, fell behind big early. Kyron Drones has not played well to this point, and there were big expectations for him coming into this year. Their quarterback, he had that ridiculous, I don't know if you saw the clip, but he basically threw the football back in the end zone for a safety. And, they really haven't been able to protect the quarterback well. That offensive line has given up 7 sacks to this point. Miami's going to be the best defensive line that they face. So I think what's going to happen Friday is Miami's just going to beat the crap out of them up front on defense, really force turnovers, and I think Miami's going to blow them out.
I'm with you there. What do you got going on in the Athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, brother. I will be doing a podcast segment today until Saturday. Our national podcast will be going on with David Ubben to talk about the best surprises in college football, the biggest disappointments. I just came out with an article talking about the 6 biggest disappointments in college football to this point. So today we'll spin it forward and talk about the biggest surprises. And then I got my oddly specific predictions, which come out every Thursday, my power rankings, which will be out Friday for the ACC. And then I will be at Miami, Virginia Tech Friday night, and potentially UCF, Colorado on Saturday. So I got a busy week ahead, brother.
All right, good stuff. We will talk Friday night after the game. Since we got a Friday night, we'll do we're back to doing a post-game show because wasn't going to do any during this last few weeks. But now we've got a juicy game as we start the ACC. So we'll talk on Friday night. Make sure you follow him on Twitter and Manny_Navarro. And catch his work. Or better yet, subscribe to The Athletic. That's what you should do so you can keep up with Manny and all the other stuff going on locally and nationally. Manny, as always, thank you, my man. We'll talk on Friday night.
Talk soon.
You got it. Caneswear, baby. Yes, sir. Caneswear. All you got to do is use our code BIG010. You can get anything and everything with a Canes logo on it, pretty much. I mean, that's just the way Brett rolls. Everything's out there. Ken's out there. John's out there. I mean, come on, man. All the folks out there are getting it done at Caneswear. So get on out there, and it's at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, right next to La Spada. If you haven't been there, come on, man. What is going on? You need to go there and go check it out, okay? Go check it out because they've got Dolphins gear. They've got Miami Marlins gear. They've got Florida Panthers championship gear. They've got InterMiami gear, kits, Messi. And who knows, down the line, they may have championship InterMiami gear when they do win a championship. It's a beautiful thing, man. So get on down there. Go see my guy, Jeff, at Caneswear. He pretty much runs the show there. I mean, Brett has Jeff kind of like cracking the whip all over the place. Jeff makes sure that when you do order online, by the way, over $99, you will get free shipping, and they make sure they get those orders out quickly. So go see Jeff, go see John, all the guys out there, Ken, Brett, everybody getting it done at caneswear.com.